Hey there, everybody. We're live from the Save the Bay Providence Exploration Center.
Yes. If you've ever wondered what Save the Bay actually means, what the organization is all about, or what the swim is about, in today's video, Mike and I have the pleasure of speaking with Executive Director Jonathan Stone of Save the Bay, and we are really excited to share his story.
We are super juiced. Take a look at this beautiful place that we're at. Ooh, let's pan. Keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going, keep going.
Disney.
Look at all that. And you're going to
Beautiful.
find out the reasons why we get to do that. Click, chime in, do your thing, but it's going to be live and fun.
Here we go. Hi there, everyone. This is Caitlin Pimentel, my husband Mike Pimentel, and of course, our guest Jonathan Stone. Hello, Jonathan.
Great to be here, you guys.
Welcome back. So Jonathan, for those of you who don't know, Jonathan Stone is the Executive Director here at Save the Bay. He is the person in charge of all things here, and he does a really great job. Him and his team have just done so much for our bay, and we were just talking about all the great things we're able to experience because of all the hard work you and your team have done, and we're really excited to just touch upon all the things.
Yeah, thanks for doing this. I'm excited to be here too.
As you can see, Mike's wearing a brown shirt right now, so big shout out to Brown because Jonathan is a Brown alum.
Major shout out. Come on, let's not be shy
Major
now.
shout
He's
out.
the reason we get to do all the fun stuff, such as swimming, cold plunging, paddling, you name it. Just walks on the beach, right? We keep it clean, we keep it fun, we keep it safe, and we're really excited to hear your story on how and why you kind of do this stuff. I've been waiting to get that out, so you take it. I'll try to keep it in the tank.
Oh my gosh. So Jonathan, how long ago did Save the Bay start, and how long have you been with Save the Bay?
Sure. Well, okay, let me start with how the organization got started. It was started in 1970. And it represented the sort of coming together of two groups of people. A group of 5 or 6 people who lived in Tiverton, Rhode Island at the time, and another group from Jamestown. And they got together because the group in Jamestown had successfully fought a proposal to build a oil refinery on the north 800 acres of Connecticut Island, which is where Jamestown's located, in the mid-60s. And then a few years later, another oil company proposed building an oil refinery in Tiverton. And that group of citizens got together and fought it successfully. Wow. And by the way, against long odds, these projects had big support from very powerful people, including governors, legislatures. But they both prevailed because they mobilized the communities in Jamestown and Tiverton to rally against the projects and fight those projects. So the group in Tiverton realized that these sort of big, ugly energy projects were likely to continue, that other proposals will come down the road. So they thought rather than disband our effort, we should form an organization that would be set up to save the bay, to defend the bay.
Yeah.
And
big one.
They got together one Sunday morning. This is the story I've been told. This group of 6 got together in one of their houses on a Sunday morning, and one of the 6 was late to the meeting, a guy named John Scanlon. And the 5 were sitting around saying, well, John's not here. He'd be a great guy to be the first executive director, and he doesn't get to vote because he's not here. So when John showed up, they congratulated him on being the first executive director by acclamation.
Oh my gosh.
There was no organization. They had no budget. They had no employees. They just said, John, congratulations. You're our first executive director. What should we name ourselves? And he was a very funny guy, and he worked in public relations. He had a firm in Fall River. And he said, I think off the cuff, well, why don't we call it what we are? Let's call it Save the Bay.
Love it.
I love
and
that.
Then subsequent to that, he came up with the idea of the bumper sticker, which is, as you know, is red. And if you look around the country at other groups kind of like Save the Bay, none of them have a stoplight color. The whole point of Save the Bay was to stop doing bad things. That's where the red color comes from. Stop. Save the Bay. Stop. So
stand up and fight.
He is credited with coming up with the name and also the bumper sticker, the logo for the organization. And
wow, that's a cool story.
The rest is kind of history, you know.
It
so
does
1970,
stand out.
yeah.
1970. You guys have come a long way since, right?
We have.
Yeah.
We have. I mean, I have been, to your second question, Caitlin, I've joined, I was had the privilege of joining back in the very beginning of 2009. So I'm on almost 14 years here at Save the Bay. And there have been 3 other executive directors. We've had very little turnover. We had John Scanlon for 9 years, and then Trudy Cox, who runs the Newport Preservation Society. She was an ED for 10 years or so, something like that. And then Kurt Spalding was here for 17 years, and I've been here for 14.
Wow. So, and you've done how many swims?
I've done 16, and this year it will be my 17th swim across the bay.
Kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal.
You can hear that giant plane.
I know. It's a big one. It's a big one. It's going to be a great swim this year. The weather has been kind of iffy, and then COVID, so this
Well, the whole COVID thing, and I think all of, you and your listeners, we've all lived through this weird experience of this sense of time warp. Like, what happened in the last 2 years? And I say that about the swim. It's sort of a blur to me. We did a virtual swim in 2020 because we couldn't assemble in the Navy base, and last year we were able to do the swim on a reduced volume number of people, and then in a weird way we couldn't do it at the end of the day because we had fog. So here we are. To me, I'm so excited. I mean, we've got a lot of excited swimmers who are ready to be back in the water.
Yeah.
This guy's juice.
This guy,
I know. He's more excited, I think, than anyone. How many swimmers are signed up for this year, like, roughly? Do you know?
I think we have something like 230, 225, something like that.
Wow.
And that's going to be great. That's a big number, and we're going to have kayakers out there. We couldn't do kayakers last year because of rules at the Navy base, but we're just thrilled the Navy's got us back on the base, and we can do the regular course.
It really is a magical day. There's so many. I can't even imagine how many moving parts there are to organizing such a big swim. Yeah. From one side to the other. That's kind of a big swim.
We have about 100 volunteers.
Wow.
And it's an all hands on deck day for the staff. So the entire staff, except for me, has to show up and do a volunteer job. I get an easy job. I just have to swim across. But we have probably 100 people who volunteer at the start and at the finish. But we're doing a couple of cool things this year that are different.
Oh yeah.
We decided to involve a whole bunch of food trucks. Ooh. So in the after party,
let's go.
In the after party, we've got a whole bunch of food trucks that are going to be there to provide food free of charge to our swimmers and our guests.
Wow, that's really nice.
And we've got a lot of other organizations that volunteer. I think Bradford Soap is one of our sponsors. And they set up showers, so when the swimmers get out of the water, you can rinse the salt water off in their showers.
That's right.
We've got volunteer massage therapists are there to work in your shoulders if you're cramped up when you cross the bay. Anyway, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be fun.
Definitely, and I mean that thing has probably evolved a ton since 1977, the first year, right?
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about 77. You have John Scanlon in there.
Right.
You point him in there.
Yeah.
What was the point of the swim, and how has it evolved since then? Present day?
Yeah.
That's a great question because it has evolved over time. The point of the swim then was the bay was very, very polluted, and we have photographs and first-hand accounts of swimmers swimming through tar balls of floating tar that were just congealing in the water, and so the water was heavily polluted, and then the point was, we've got to take care of this resource. I mean, this is outrageous that you swim across the bay and you come out and you need a bath after the swim. So it was drawing attention to, at that point, to the polluted state of the bay. Over the many years, we've had a lot of success. We, meaning all of us in Rhode Island who have helped make this cleanup possible. The bay is so much cleaner. Now it's appreciation for what we've accomplished and sort of a celebration of how clean the bay is now, but also to remind people that it never ends. You're not over. The bay is not permanently saved because humans, there are 2 million people who live and work around Narragansett Bay.
Wow.
And we have our impacts. So we have to take care of this place. And that's the other purpose, is to help raise funds for our work. to take care of the place.
You mentioned with us as humans that impact the bay. We were talking about bacterial levels. Like, what are some of the things that we may do as humans, or things that cause such pollution? Like what?
Well, I mean, a big thing is some of our biggest successes have been focused on cleaning up big pipes that discharge into the bay. So 2 examples of big pipes would be wastewater treatment plants. There are 37 different wastewater treatment plants that exist in Rhode Island and in Massachusetts, and that discharge into the tributaries or directly into the bay. 37. They all require care, feeding, maintenance, training, resources, capital upgrades, but they have largely cleaned up the water being discharged. So the water quality is pretty good coming out of the treatment plants. We've also cleaned up the big industrial pipes from factories. Now, some of that is that many of our factories have moved overseas, moved to other parts of the world, but the Clean Water Act was really crucial in requiring polluters to clean up the discharge. So today, the biggest thing that we are kind of got our eye on, the biggest source of pollution is what we call stormwater runoff, polluted runoff. And this is when it rains, stuff that our litter, the grease and oil dripping from our cars. When it rains, it all gets lifted up and it flows downhill, washes into the bay. So we've really been focused on trying to clean up the stormwater pollution to reduce the impact on the bay after rain events. And it's complicated. It's a lot more complicated if you think about it, because it's the entire landscape. It's not just one big pipe or a collection of pipes you have to focus on. But we've made good progress, and that's a big area of focus for Save the Bay, is making sure that we continue to clean up the polluted runoff and prevent it from affecting the water here in the upper bay and down the bay. Places like Easton Beach and Third Beach and on Aquidneck are usually closed after rain events. Places in Greenwich Bay are closed after rain events. So it's important that we keep focusing on reducing those pollutants and preventing them from reaching the bay.
Totally. So just to break this down, for someone like me, so, where we live in Narragansett, we live on a hill, right? You know how the whole thing works with the seawall. Grease spills, dog feces, whatever it may be, at some point, water's going to rise, and that's literally all just trickling down.
Yeah. I mean, it most likely happen in a rain event, and it'll wash. The water will pick up all that bad stuff, go into the storm drain and out to the bay. Most storm drains around the bay actually drain to the bay. In fact, we have a volunteer program where we have volunteers help us affix seals, markers on storm drains to let people know, and the seal says this storm drain drains to the bay. Oh, it's just a reminder to people, sometimes people forget that if they pour their motor oil down the storm drain or chuck their dog poop down the storm drain, it's going to end up in the bay. So by putting the marker on there, it just reminds people that we're all connected to the bay, and just be thoughtful about what you do.
I think we have a massive storm drain right along the seawall. We have a few.
Yeah, I bet you do. And those, I would guess, drain right into the bay.
Right into the bay. Yeah. But I have seen those plaques. They're
little markers. Yeah.
I love those. That's a good touch.
We last year during COVID, we had volunteers mark every storm drain in Jamestown. The entire town.
Wow.
We marked all of those, and we've done East Providence, east side of Providence, all over the state. We've done storm drain markings, and we keep working on it because it's a great public education idea.
Yeah.
People walking out there, walking their dogs, can see, I should be careful.
Yeah. So, here's a reminder.
Exactly. Yeah.
Now, you've had a really big win. We're actually looking at it over there. Tell us a little bit about the latest Save the Bay project that you were just talking about.
About the shellfishing?
Yeah.
So the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management regulates areas that are open and available for shellfishing. And I'm talking about clamming, cohogging, not oyster farms. And shellfish, if there's bacteria in the water, they ingest that bacteria. And when they do, right after they ingest the bacteria, if you were to eat that clam or quahog, you'd get sick. So they're very careful in closing shellfish beds when they're concerned about bacteria pollution in the water.
Yeah.
So just south of us here, from Kennemicket Point in Warwick north, up until last year, was closed for 50, 60 years to shellfishing because the water was polluted to the point where it was risky or unsafe to eat the quahogs.
Long time.
A long time. And thankfully, due to a lot of hard work by a lot of people and a lot of money, the pollution, the bacteria pollution that has typically come from urban areas like Providence, have been cleaned up to the point where now the DM has opened a big part of the bay north of Connecticut Point to quahoggers on a limited basis. And that is the first time that's happened. And I was sharing with you guys earlier, I was out on the bay with our baykeeper earlier this week, and there must have been 100 boats out there quahogging on Wednesday morning. And they're out there because they're collecting a good harvest. So it's exciting to see the bay being opened and seeing it. There's a reward for it. You can swim safely, you can quahog, you can enjoy the resource.
Yeah, I'm really glad you told us about that, because that's such a great example of what the swim is all about, like what the whole idea, the premises behind it. And it's great we can actually talk about like another life example that just happened.
Well, on the swim, our swimmers are incredibly dedicated and enthusiastic and are incredibly helpful in our efforts to raise money to fund our work. The swimmers are our largest single fundraiser. It generates several $100,000 for our team, our advocacy team. It makes a big difference. It makes a big difference. So we count on it every year, and the swimmers are the key. The swimmers are the ones who put the work in, do the training. And most of our swimmers they're not like professional swimmers. They're just regular people.
Regular
Joes. Regular Joes.
Yeah.
So we really appreciate all the effort the swimmers put in.
It really is a magical day. Then you think about, it's just a great cause, and I'm really glad we were able to chat a little bit about the swim and what the proceeds go towards, and real life examples that are happening right now that are a benefit of such a great swim and a great organization.
One of our favorite.
I know. It's all we're looking forward to this summer.
Well, it's so fun to talk. I mean, one of the things I get a kick out of when I do the swim, and when I get to the start, I'll see people every year that I haven't seen in a year. The only place I see them is at the swim. And we have people from all over the country. I think the last time we counted, which is probably a couple of years ago, we had people doing the swim representing 29 different states.
Wow.
From all over the country who come to this particular swim. And of course, needless to say, it's the most awesome swim. But it is special because it's only open once a year to do the swim. We're going over a federal ship channel. It's a heavily trafficked waterway. It's in the middle of summer, so it's really unique.
That is 29 states. That's a really cool fact.
29 states, everyday ordinary people, just like that. Everyday ordinary people that started this foundation.
Yeah.
And we're literally shutting down the bay, so people can't actually cross there with these big boats, right?
Correct.
It's just open for us.
For the morning, they shut it. The Coast Guard, we work very closely with the Coast Guard on all kinds of safety protocols that we have in place.
Yeah.
But the Coast Guard shuts the East Passage down to boat traffic. I think it's about 6 hours. From early Saturday morning through 10 or 11 a.m.
Yeah.
Now, how can people volunteer for not only Save the Bay, be a part of you guys? How do they get involved? If they want to swim, if they just want to be a part of the cause, where can we find you guys?
So the best thing to do is go to our website, which is www.savebay.org. There's no "the" in there, just savebay.org. And we've got a lot of information on the website, including a tab, how to get involved.
Yeah.
And we have a big volunteer program, lots of things you can do if you want to participate on a one-time basis, like participate in a beach cleanup or a storm drain marking or an event. Or you can be a regular volunteer and work with us on habitat restoration projects. Yeah. Our aquarium in Newport.
Great place.
I should mention the aquarium. Oh, this is breaking news, so I got to share it with your listeners.
Yeah.
They're excited.
They're very excited.
So we are building a new aquarium in Newport.
Really?
Yeah.
That's exciting.
It is, and we expect to open by June of next year.
We'll be there.
And it's going to be 5 times as big. It's located in the Gateway Transportation Center, which is also known as the bus station.
Downtown Newport there, right?
Newport.
Let's go. What a date.
Yeah.
That's a great, oh my, so what are some new, are there any like new
it's going to be
huge.
all the things that we do well at our Easton's Beach Aquarium.
It's incredible there.
We have 2 octopus.
We have octopus. We've got all kinds of critters.
Yeah.
They're going to be there, but on a larger scale.
Wow.
We'll have lots of touch tanks.
Oh my
Lots of
gosh.
hands-on exhibits.
I love that.
Lots of our docents and volunteers who draw you in and engage you. And if you've got a 8-year-old, they'll say, "Hey, pick up a horseshoe crab or pick up a hermit crab and hold it in your hand." So we'll be doing that. We'll have just a broader variety of exhibits, and again, lots of hands-on ways to get involved. And we're all here very, very excited about it. It's going to be a major asset for Newport and a great family destination.
It really is. I mean,
We're juiced.
we're pretty excited. Bear loved seeing everything.
Oh my God, our dogs love this place. They love everything about the beaches, and
I know.
the organization allows us to do that stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
at one point I was reading that Providence in the late 70s was the worst sewage, New England's worst sewage plant.
Right.
Yeah.
Like maybe that was dated back to that 50 years, but
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's
now
right.
we can hang out here. Like that. That's
Yeah.
kind of the idea, and it's clean.
Yeah.
And our boat,
Yeah.
our yacht club boathouse is down there. Is right over there. It's super, super special.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
Well, the cool thing about the aquarium is that every single animal you see there is found in Narragansett Bay.
That's really
it's
cool.
all
Yeah.
about species that live here.
Yeah.
And it's kind of fun because, in this part of the world, in northern New England and the Northwest Atlantic, our fish are not that colorful. They're sort of darkish colors.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you highlight them in an aquarium, you really start to see how interesting and beautiful and how odd they are. I mean, we have really strange species of fish up here that are adapted to this harsh environment and are adapted to particular habitats.
So
we've organized the aquarium around habitats. So examples would be
that's
rocky
awesome.
shore where you've got rockweed. And
Yeah.
we have certain animals that are adapted to that habitat. We have
Wow.
other animals that are adapted to sandy bottom, which we have a lot of. So, for example, we have you guys probably remember this from Easton's. We have a shark tank
Sure.
where you can pet the sharks.
Yes.
Because they're just the most adorable dogfish.
Spent like 90 minutes there
Yeah, we did.
with our dog.
Trying. Bear had his face pressed up against it. I was like so excited.
So anyway, all of those are going to be at the new aquarium, but please go to the current aquarium because that is still open
Yes.
and very much a great experience.
Fantastic.
I've got 2 questions
Yeah.
for you, maybe
Yeah.
3. 1, favorite seafood.
Oh yeah.
Oh, geez. My favorite seafood is cod.
Okay.
Ooh, all right, I like that.
And because cod is the most delicious, flaky fish that is good in everything you can think of. Chowder
butter.
to, sauteed with butter
Yeah.
to baked with white wine and butter and capers. I
Yum.
mean, the cod is, or fried. I mean, the best
Yeah.
fish and chips is cod. So cod's my favorite fish.
Little nostalgia. You grew up in Buzzards Bay, right?
Yep.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Favorite ocean animal.
Ocean animal. Well, I gotta say, I really find seals enduring
I
and
love them.
endearing.
Yes.
And we have on Narragansett Bay, in the summer, the seals are all on vacation up north.
Okay.
But in the winter, they all show up here, and we'll every year we do an annual seal count
Oh my god.
with volunteers.
Wait. Really?
I love that.
And we Save the Bay has been maintaining records of the number of seals counted on one specific morning each year.
Really?
And we do it all at the same hour. We're all synchronized. So we have volunteers that pan out across the bay at places where seals tend to haul out, and they count for us. And then we tabulate those records, and we have a long history of seal populations. And you'd be amazed how many there are. We typically count 500 to 600
Oh my gosh.
unique animals at one moment. That's how we know they're unique, because they're being spotted at the same
Wow.
point in time at different locations around the bay. So I love the harbor seals we have here. They're incredibly cute. They do this
They're
cool
adorable.
banana pose when they haul out on
so
rocks.
funny.
But yeah, I'd say harbor seals.
My follow-up question to that, I guess, would be, what is your coolest, maybe not underwater, but your ocean experience?
Oh, geez. Well, I tell you, one I would comes to mind immediately has to do with a swim I did. I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 years ago. I lose track of time, but I, along with 300 other swimmers, were paddling across the bay, and I was about 2/3 of the way across the bay, right beneath the Pell Bridge, and I started feeling this little stings on my face. You know, I wear a wetsuit.
Yeah.
So I'm mostly covered with a wetsuit, and I started feeling my neck and then down my
Oh,
front
no.
of my wetsuit, and little stings all over my face. What the heck is that? And I cleaned off the fog in my goggles, and I looked, and I could see that in the top 2 inches of water were millions of little crab larvae. They were that big.
Gosh.
And it was just a hatch. That's what they do. They hatch all at the same time.
Oh my
And there were
goodness.
millions of these little guys, and they had the little chompers out. They were nipping
They were
me.
just, oh my God.
So it wasn't a sting at all. They just had these tiny little,
What did you
claws.
do? Did you
I kept going.
Yeah.
I just
just
dealt with
wipe
it.
off your face?
I swam faster.
Keep
So
your
that
little-
was a really cool moment, experiencing
man.
sort of a living bay. That's what the bay is. It's an incredibly
living.
alive resource.
Hopefully they don't hatch.
Right.
This time through.
That's really special to hear. I mean, to be honest with you, this whole entire swim is kind of what started we've always loved the ocean, but
Yeah.
we literally moved to the beach because of the swim. A friend of mine said, "Hey, do you want to do a fundraiser with me?" And I said, "Sure," thinking it was, a 2-mile jog. Sure enough, it was a 2-mile swim. Didn't know how to swim. Went to the Brown swim coaches. Thank you, Sam. And learned how to swim in the pool because they told me you're not ready for the ocean. And then once I got in the ocean, it was just over. And you just really fall in love with what's going on down there, especially now. Like the other day we swam. It's late July, early August. It's clear. It hasn't rained. You're 15, 20 feet. And you can see the bottom.
You can
It's
see the
just
bottom.
clear as day and
Yeah.
warm bath water. There is nothing better than being there on a Sunday morning,
Yeah.
I know it. It's really quite a special thing.
Yeah, it is. It's almost meditative. Just the gurgling of the water or something. You don't really hear anything else. It's really nice.
But even for next week, I mean, the camaraderie, like we talked about, everyone coming together. I've met so many alums from Brown, people all over, but I'm super, super juiced, and I hope people watching this, you all come and join the team.
The team.
Thanks for letting me be on this with you.
Oh my gosh. No, and
thank
thank
you,
you,
Caitlin.
Jonathan. This
Really
is
appreciate it.
amazing. This has been so great. And we'll link the website and make sure you know when the new aquarium will be open. And we'll be there. We will be there.
Awesome.
We will.
We will.
That
Thanks,
is super
Jonathan.
Thank you.